our evening art party.
Hello.
So excited to see everybody. Please feel free to turn your video on because we love seeing you. That's bottom left. This way we get to smile at each other and wave and see who we're waving at. Hello, Dottie, waving back. Thank you, thank you.
Hi,
Roslyn, how are you? And Lori.
Hi, everyone.
And also, if you'd open up your chat, which are down there as well, then we can see where you're from, not where you from. Let's go. So nice to see everybody.
Honey.
It is.
Janine.
Here I am in New York, which is about to get the storm. Everybody looks wonderful. It's so nice to have so many people here.
Yes, it is.
We've got to have more than Troy, New York, Brooklyn, and New Jersey. Who's from somewhere else? Pop it in the chat.
I love Carol's burnt orange background. I want to paint my house that color.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous fall color. Absolutely beautiful. And I even like the holding picture for Denise, your cute couple. Sharing the love here.
Oh, that is cute. And there's a sweet dog.
Yes, and Melanie.
Yep. Beautiful.
Sorry, I have a gnat. If I look like I'm doing this, there is a gnat in my studio flying to the lights that I have shining on the end. I'm like,
It doesn't mean you're crazy.
no, it doesn't mean I'm out of my mind. I am crazy, but not in that way.
So nice to see you.
Hi, everybody. We're going to get started in just a minute, but if you'd like, oh, there we go. We got Wisconsin and Oregon. Yay!
Your leaves as well.
Here we go.
New Orleans.
Orleans.
Wow.
I knew we had to have more than just Brooklyn and New Jersey. Welcome, everybody. Okay, since we have a lot of presenters, I am going to get started. Thank you for coming to party with us at Art Party today. And again, if you didn't hear the announcement, your camera is on your bottom corner and we love seeing your faces if you share those with us. And you could please feel free to use the chat to let us know what pieces you like. Pop in any questions for the artists. We really do like getting your questions and do our best to answer them all. And we want to have one technical thing before we start, which is if for any reason we get interrupted and have to stop the party, you can go to artpartycentral.org, and at the top of the page in red will be an updated link so you could seamlessly join us again. And that's only if for any reason the party gets shut down. Now that all that is out of the way, let's raise our glasses to a cheers for being here tonight to celebrate the arts together. And cheers to you.
Cheers, everyone.
Now we're going to mute everyone. Please don't be insulted. It is just Zoom protocol. Hi again. So I'm Karla, proud to be one of the founding members of Art Party Central. I have a line of original art and watercolors and goods and gifts for the home with my surface design that I'd love for you to check out later on my website, karlagudeon.com. And I'm pleased today to have an amazing co-host with me, Charlie Tesnakis of ekologic, and you could find them at ekologic.com. And he's going to be there for you, making sure everything goes smoothly. The links to the artist websites are popped into the chat. And again, please put any questions you have there for Charlie. You can find him listed as admin, ADMIN. So enough about all of us. And we have 8 amazing artists here tonight to present their works to us. We have Nora Swan from Swan&Stone Millinery, Janine Krantz from Janine Krantz Artisan Jewelry, Clara Applewhaite Mitchell from Clara Applewhaite Mitchell Designs, Saskia De Vries from Saskia, Suzanne Schwartz from Suzanne Schwartz Jewelry. I am tongue-tied right now. Charlie Tesnakis from Ekologic, Alex Lozier from Alex Lozier Jewelry, Meghan Patrice Riley from Meghan Patrice Riley Jewelry, and that includes the other 3 founding members of Art Party Central, which were Swan&Stone Ecologic, and NPR, Patrice Riley. So this is how the party's going to shake out. Each of the artists is going to give a presentation. And then if time allows, I'm going to ask them a couple of questions, either previously submitted or questions that you are putting into the chat during their presentations, which we're happy to get. At the end of the party, we're going to raffle off one $50 gift certificate for 4 of the artists presenting with us today. So that's 4 chances to win just for hanging out with us today. You do have to be present to win, so stick around to the end of the party. We're also going to give out at that time a special discount code, which will be good for all of the artists' websites, as well as my website, Karla Gudeon Art and Design, and ekologic, ekologic.com. At the end of the party, we're going to open up for an after party for chatting and more questions, where we invite you to unmute yourselves and mingle with us. So let's get to the fun stuff. Our first artist today is Nora. Nora, take it away.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nora Swan of Swan&Stone Millinery, and me and my partner Sam make hats up here in Vermont. And we started making hats because we just love the way they transform your personality and bring your personality to the forefront. And it's actually a true fact that people remember you better when you've got a hat on, and they read you as more self-confident, and they'll give you a better seat at a restaurant, for instance. So we're sort of hat evangelists here, just because they're so much fun and there's such an easy way to like bring your personality to the forefront. So I thought I would just put on a number of our styles, and I can talk a little bit about my half of the duo, which is sort of the design process and what I'm thinking about as I'm designing. And usually there's a lot, of course, of sort of abstract like colors and textures and that sort of thing. But then also I'll have personalities that'll flash into my mind as I'm doing it, either personalities or different looks, different styles and moods and different things like that. Sometimes it's actually a real person that will flash into my mind. And sometimes it's more like almost an archetype of a different person. And as I'm designing, I'm sort of trying to make sure that when we go to a show, for instance, we did this last weekend, that I've sort of got hats that I think are going to look beautiful on a number of different types of people and that will appeal to them. And so color and shape. And one thing I was thinking about on the way down here too, I live on a mountain, and down here on the way, I was thinking about failed hats that I've made over the years. And I was just looking for one, and I wanted to show you, and I don't see it here, but hats, fashion is a language in general, and hats in particular are, they say something. And every once in a while, I'll do something like I'll design a hat that says, the shape says romance, and the color somehow says something completely different than that. And the hat will just not, nobody will find it to be the right hat for them, because it's not, the people that are looking for like a tailored look, for instance, won't want pink, or the vice versa. So you sort of have to play around with the vernacular in a way and make sure that what you're saying is clear. Anyway, so if you do get one of our hats, I wanted to point out that because so many of our shapes are unconventional, you can play around with how you wear them. And we do have one hat collector who wears all of our hats backwards. So this is a new style that I just made, and it's a combination. It's actually the brim, which is this part, is the same brim as in this hat, just treated differently. So instead of making it go up like that, I have it coming down. And the crown is the same as the hat I just started wearing, which is this, can you see? And I do carve these wooden forms myself. Anyway, I wanted to point out that I just was reminded, because we went into a show in person. And so I got to see people putting the hats on and experimenting again, which is always so inspiring to me, because I come up with all kinds of new designs that I didn't think of, because when I'm designing, I think, okay, straightforward. And then people come and put them on in different ways. And I think that's so much fun. So if you do get a hat and it's one of these unconventional shapes, don't be afraid to try it on backwards. See, you get one look. Then you put it on frontwards, and you get a completely different look. And we do also do more conventional shapes, but I always try and put an element of wit into a hat. I think a hat needs to be witty. That's what sort of one of the good things, one of the signs of a good hat in my book is that there's a certain humor or wit to it, but not so much that you're clownish by any stretch.
Exactly. There's something that, you know, you don't feel goofy, but you do feel like you're out there with a smile and you're presenting your best self to the world when you do
And
that.
people read you as more self-confident, more witty, all of those things. It's really funny, and you don't even have to feel that way.
And I was going to say, though, it does make you feel that way.
It
does.
does.
You know, exactly. When somebody's reading you as more self-confident, all of a sudden you can internalize that.
It's so true. It's really true.
Nora, what are your most like, though? I mean, I'm the kind of person who would wear almost any of your styles every day, anywhere, but not everybody is. What would you consider an everyday hat? I consider this, like what I'm wearing from you, an everyday hat, because you could throw it on with jeans or dress it up. And I mean, in this case, I think the hat came first and I bought the outfit second, which is what I think everybody should do. Just
I'm so
buy
with you
a
on
hat
that.
and buy the clothes to match that.
You know, it's hard to say. Obviously, a lot of it has to do with how you style it. So the same hat will mean something completely different. So you can get a lot of wear out of even the most distinctive hats. And then, so I actually do wear quite wild styles sometimes, but if I'm dressed down, it doesn't necessarily read as that I'm, you know, so effusively dressed anyway. But I would say, you know, if you're looking for something that's a little more conventional, but has like a small edge, sometimes when you're playing with elements of style, sometimes you want 3 really strong elements, but sometimes you just want one thing that you're saying. And so I do have a number of styles where this is sort of a conventional shape, but then the trim is this rusted metal barbed wire that's actually from Sam's farm, and rusted. The band is rusted as well. So that's sort of low key in a way. So if by every day you mean low key, we do have styles like that. Here's another one that's the same, more conventional shape. In fact, it's the exact same shape, but with the flip up on the other side, and totally different colors, and you get a completely different hat. So I would say if you want a starter hat, like we call this the gateway hat, and there we have 2 different styles. This one is the kepi, which is sort of a cap. And I'm not seeing now, but we also have a very snuggly cloche, and they're both made of handmade felt. So you can ski in them, you can sleep in them. I have been known to sleep in them when it's very cold. And
don't you also have the mod cap in the soft wools?
Yeah, we do mod caps. Here's a mod cap. This one looks so cute on you, Karla, and it does not look great on me, in my opinion, but that's the other strength of being a good designer, is designing hats that don't look good on you, but look good on other people.
And I beg to differ. I think you look absolutely fabulous. We have literally 20 seconds left, but quickly somebody put in the chat, are you going to be anywhere else in person soon?
That is still to be announced. We don't have a lot of in-person shows. You're welcome to do Zoom calls with us, and people have been road tripping up here, and that's been super fun to have people come in and play dress ups with us in person up here. So
I can attest to that.
Don't see you in person, you can come find us.
All right. Thank you so much, Nora. And I'm very excited for all of you who haven't yet met to meet Janine. Janine.
Hi, everyone. I'm Janine Krantz. If you don't know me, I am a art jeweler and I am self-taught. So a little bit about what I like to do is I have developed a strong affinity for non-traditional granulation, as I like to call it. So I melt a lot of tiny little silver balls, and then I place the balls in negative space. So for instance, we can see here, this bracelet that I have here the open negative space is filled in with all of these little granules that I place by hand, one at a time, that I've melted one at a time. And I fill in these spaces to make my jewelry. And I do that with pendants. And I just try to, you know, put them in an unusual formation and just kind of, I don't know, I find them very interesting. This is a Concho Druzy agate, by the way, which is a really beautiful stone. Let me see if I can adjust my light so you can see it a little better. That might be oh, there we go. And it has a ton of sparkle. It's a really beautiful pendant, and it's on a hinge because I put pretty much all of my pendants on hinges. I like making connections and different things that move and are articulated, I suppose is the word I'm looking for. I also wanted to touch on something new that I'm doing, which is I make these wide band rings. A lot of the times I do it with like tourmaline. You can see this is a pink tourmaline, or I do it with, this is a green tourmaline. But these are a wide band ring. They have a heavy texture on them. I don't know if you could see that. You could see it on my website. But the problem is I make a lot of these rings and I have to resize them probably about half of the time for people. So what I have now on my website is a new section with, it's called made to finish rings. And what it is I've started the ring, but I have not completed it. So you can pick your stone. Like for instance, here's one, this isn't finished. This has a Super 7 in it. Maybe you can see. So this one has a Super 7 gem, but it's not finished. It's actually stuck together right now with some wax. And I'll finish it when you order it so I can make it in your size. This makes the rings so much more accessible to people because I think a lot of people will see something and they love it, but they can't buy it because it's not their size. And they don't think to ask if I can resize it. Like this is a rainbow moonstone, which is absolutely fabulous. I don't even know if you could see it that well here, but like this is going to be one of those rings. You just need to buy it and tell me your size. So I'm really excited about it and I hope it eliminates extra work for me and also makes it more accessible for other people so that they can get a ring with a stone that they love and in the size that they want. Another made to order type of thing that I'm doing is I'm making a lot of these hoop earrings, which are really great price points for presents for the holidays, which are coming up. So these are hoop earrings and I make a lot of these in different sizes. So like this is the same earring. I also have an even longer version of this and I have it in this shape here, or I have hoops also with my little granules. So I have big and small, and these are all made to order. So you can order them on my website. There we go. And I'll make them for you and have them shipped out in about 7 to 10 business days. I also have a whole bunch of these earrings in either turquoise or rosarita on my site right now. They're mismatched, but matched. And they have my granulation with the negative space, and they're just really fun and dangly. The other thing is with a lot of these earrings, people will say, well, these are a little too long. And what I can do is switch out this fishhook ear wire for a ball post and it'll make them shorter. So even if you see something on my website and maybe it's not quite right, I can make it right for you. You know, just with like a little tweak, because I make everything from start to finish from scratch, so I can do those things.
And in relation to that, there's a question in the chat about, would you ever do make to finish bracelets? Somebody said they have larger wrists. It seems like the ones on your site fit 7 to 7.5, and I'm assuming this means that her wrist is larger. Can you accommodate that?
Absolutely. Like these bracelets that I'm showing now that I have, I'm calling them a hybrid cuff because they look like a cuff on this side and they're chain on this side. These are adjustable, so you can actually make them fit small to large wrists. And if you even need them to be bigger than that, I just add a couple more links.
That's fantastic.
the beauty of being
I
handmade.
think I see a Zoom in Denise's future, you know, where possibly one of the ones that isn't adjustable, but that you can make ready
Yes,
for the
all
wrist.
you got to do, shoot me an email and I'm very happy to work with you and try to customize things to make it work for you.
And what would you consider other than, of course, with us at Art Party Central, what would be the best place for somebody to see your work?
On Instagram. I post as I'm making things on Instagram. I like to tease the things that I'm working on. So Instagram is really the best place to see what I'm up to and, you know, just kind of get an insight into what's coming up next.
I love that because that's the easiest way to follow somebody. Even if you're not active yourself on Instagram as a consumer, it's a great place to watch the people and the artists you admire.
Right. And I talk a lot about the stuff that I'm doing. So it's interesting. Sometimes I remember to try to educate people about the different things, the stones that I'm using and things like that. So it's,
do you think you're going to be going back to more in person?
I want to. I miss the human interaction. I used to be a hairdresser. I used to talk to people all the time, and I'm starting to feel a little like a troll in my studio, and I don't see people. So I'm definitely kind of craving that interaction and just seeing people. And what Nora was saying about even just seeing how people put on a hat differently, having that interaction with people really kind of gives you more ideas, because you'll see someone put an earring on a different way or wear something or just turn something and you just go, oh, and then you'll think of something new. So yeah, I miss that.
Yeah, it's kind of like what I was saying, let the hat inspire the outfit. I think our customers sometimes inspire what we create.
100%, definitely.
And to that note, if somebody saw something on your site, and we only have a few seconds to answer this, if somebody saw something on your site with a sold sign, but they wanted something similar, would they be able to?
Depends on the stone. I can copy or I can make a similar design. It's usually everything is based around my stones, but you know, I can definitely work with you. And then sometimes I have similar stones that I could do stuff with, but I do work with one-of-a-kind stones mostly.
Right, but you could probably capture an emotion. That's
Definitely.
Well, thank you so much. That was an amazing presentation. And we're going to bring it on to my friend and presenter, Clara. She's going to take us on a trip.
Hi there, Clara, Applewhaite Mitchell of Clara Applewhaite Designs. I am, yes, you're hearing a little bit of an accent. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago originally. And I went to school at Howard University and then went on to FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology, and learned what I'm going to show you this evening. I am a printmaker. I came up here as a teacher before, and I just thoroughly enjoy anything to do with color, flora and fauna, culture, history, architectural motifs, etc. Now, this particular technique I'm going to tell you about is called Gutta Serti. It is a resist, and the gutta looks like glue, slightly colored glue, and I would push it through this stylus, drawing the design on the silk, after which I apply the dye, which is Dynaflow. The dye that I use is really Dynaflow paint. It is made into the consistency of dye. So, and the reason why I chose it, two things: brilliant color, as you can see behind you, and it is heat set with a hot iron. So once the gutta is dry, then you apply the paint in the different techniques. And when that is dry, it is left to cure for a day, depending on the size of the piece, and then it is washed out. So the gutta comes out and the white lines remain. So that's the beauty of the technique. I started doing lengths of scarves, just like this one here. They're all 14 to 17 inches. And because I've been doing this so long, I don't only do the Gutta Serti technique in each scarf like this one. I always incorporate one of the other techniques, which would be, most of the time, it is the watercolor technique which is just like a watercolor. The scarf is stretched on the frame. The whole scarf is spritzed with water. You apply the dye or the paint, and then you sprinkle the silk salt around the edges or wherever you wish, which creates a movement. The salt creates a chemical reaction and pulls the dye into itself. So you see that kind of movement on the scarves. So the other designs or the different techniques I do, this is direct painting. Same thing, start with the spritzing of the entire scarf. Then I apply the paint, let that dry, and then I go back into it and do some detail work. You see the watercolor technique with the silk salt here. Then I go in and do some line work. So a lot of people would come and see, I'm not a scarf person, but I love what you do. Can you do it on a shirt? So I do. I now do shirts for men and women. They're unisex. So you can see always working with the different techniques. Can't forget, I love to wear ties. I grew up wearing ties in my uniform, so I always wear ties when I'm out in the corporate world, suits, men, women. And my favorite, the midi kaftans for evening, any time of year.
Clara, could you put one of the caftans on?
This is the latest one. Most of the scarves that you see are from my collection called Home. During the pandemic, I got very homesick. So everything here represents either the flora and fauna of home, food, the birds, the festivals. This one here is Diwali, because we have a multicultural society. This is from Carnival. Piero Granat, it's one of the characters. He's like a clown. So back to our little kaftan here. This here, flora and fauna, here from a Vanda orchid. And you have some motifs from the Buku reef, which is a coral reef, and some other motifs from my favorite dish, crab and callaloo, which is like a, what you call collard greens.
Oh, that sounds incredible. That is so beautiful on. That is really gorgeous.
And of course, pillows. Any other questions?
Yeah. How long does it take you to make a scarf?
Okay. Since I have this on, the mini kaftan takes me a week to do. A scarf 14 by 15 with the Gutta Serti takes about 3 days. The watercolor technique, because it's so quick, that's half a day. Now that's not from finish to end, that's just painting it.
Now, how close is what you envision in your head to what the final result is?
Because I'm a textile designer, most of the time I have the design, they're all original designs. So most of the time I have an idea of what the colors are going to be. And as in this one, I have 2 colorways. That's my textile design training. There's always an original and maybe another accent. So, and I love, just as the ladies do with their jewelry, layering the chains and the bracelets, you can do the same thing. I usually would layer one of the Gutta with one of the texture.
Oh, how pretty. Can we see that? We have less than a minute, but I'd love to see 2 scarves together.
Similar to this.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
They're right there.
You know what? And I'm a stacker, but I never thought of stacking my scarves, but I'm definitely going to
Oh,
from
yeah.
now on. Clara, thank you so much. That was amazing. I love hearing you talk about your work, and I love your work. Your work just transports me. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you so much. And let's continue on our little globe trotting and move on to Saskia. Saskia, I can't wait for your presentation.
Hi, everyone. I think it's a good mix to have me after Clara because I'm very much inspired by not so much my country, but by all the countries around us. I always mention that I'm the only American born in my family, and I grew up in Virginia, and my name is Saskia De Vries. So I've always felt a little bit other. And so what I've noticed over the years is that I try to incorporate lots of different countries into one piece and sort of bring the cultures together. So basically, I'm a UN director in jewelry. I don't know if that's true, but so this is a fun example. This one is called Serengeti. This is a newer design. And this is actually bone that's found in Kenya. These are pressed glass. They use recycled glass. A lot of the glass I use comes from Ghana, other places in West Africa, but often Ghana. And then there's a clasp in the back, which is from Indonesia. Isn't that kind of cool? So what I do is also, I like to encourage people to wear lots of different layers. I'm wearing, this is one necklace here. It's Thai silver, which is a higher grade of silver than sterling. And it's mixed with little Tuareg beads. So I call it tiny Tuareg. The Tuareg people are a nomadic North African group, and they often are called the blue people because of their long blue robes. And these are all things that I learned from the vendors that I meet when I'm around the world or in Tucson, which is the large gem show. And I do also try to, if possible, buy from women vendors. It's much harder. I always notice that all the jewelry makers are women and all the people selling the stones are men. So I try to find the women, and sometimes that works. And that's important to me. This is a really fun piece. It's called Goa, which is a beach town in the west part of India. This is an old coin that was melted down and turned into a newer piece, but still about 20 years old. This is malachite. It's a little hard to see with turquoise and a little bit of orange stone. It just has a summer feeling. And look at these three together. I think a lot of times people think, oh, okay, well, let me layer something small with something big if you're bold enough to do that. But I encourage you, go bold all the way. Go long, medium, short. I have an extender on this necklace. It works with a lot of different necklaces. This one is really inexpensive, and it works on a lot of different pieces. And I put it on here so that it has this nice distance between. Because if I didn't, the two pieces would kind of compete. Do you guys ever have that? It's so annoying and they're not sitting right. So if you can use an extender, then they're right at the lengths that you want, and it's adjustable. So depending on what shirt you're wearing, you could wear different lengths. This is kind of fun. I was working on this in between our two shows today. So this is a piece that I have had before. It's called Mali Weds. I named it, the beads come from Mali, and often drummers wear long, colorful strands during their wedding celebrations. And I often have a mix of colors, but I've just been digging into my coffers, my drawers, and I found a lot of black and white. This one takes me a couple of years to collect enough of the black and white stripy ones. And so I threw in a little bit of red there. And you can see these are unfinished. So I design them. And then once I have a big pile, then I go through and find the clasps. This one I thought was going to be ugly, if I can be honest. I was like, how am I going to make brown look cute? And now it's my favorite of all of them.
Oh my God, it's so gorgeous. Like, we're going to hear from Kathleen, but brown is on trend.
Yes. And what I did is I added a little bit of pink and even red to the brown, because before it was all camel colors and it was just a little boring in my opinion. And so with a little purple, a little pink, it just came to life. And now I'm going to see if I can try to replicate a few sort of in this family, but they're all different. I think a lot of us here have that where, yes, I will try to make another one, but it won't look exactly the same, but that's
right. But I love the way you took something that could have been conventional and you pumped up the volume with the pink. and yet it's still very easy to wear.
Thank you. Yeah, and what's fun about these beads too is they stick up. They create a lot of movement, and you can kind of place them down. But for me, the movement is really fun.
Oh, the movement and sound, that's everything. And I love, you're big on big. To me, that's,
Right? It doesn't look weird. It
no,
works.
not at all. Like maybe if we have time, you'll show us a big stack on.
I was going to say big on big. I mean, these are both really quite large in size. And again, I have a different extender, a longer, fatter extender to wear them together. But yeah, no one would ever say, don't wear that. And I'm going to trademark it, but I like to say, you can't pull it off if you don't put it on. So just try it.
I think you have to trademark that.
I think so.
And then I think as soon as you say to yourself, I'm pulling this off, you do. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's, that positive self-talk.
Yeah, that is really true. And sometimes people need a little push. So if you ever want to Zoom with me or call, I'd be happy to show you a couple different combinations together. Or I always love to see a picture if a husband is buying for a wife. They always are surprised. I'm like, give me a picture. And then I learn so much from just what you're wearing or how your hair is. And then I think I'm pretty good at helping you find things that you might like. So don't
I know you are. I've seen you in action. You really can help somebody zero in on what'll make them happy or look good. What do you have a country that's your favorite, the source that was from your travels?
I think Nepal was one of my favorite. I really kind of wanted to adopt every child that I met. But one of the thing that makes you notice or recognize something from Nepal is it often has turquoise and coral. And so this is a little bead there that you can see. This is a 2-strand bracelet, but you can also wear it as a necklace.
As a choker. I don't want to run out of time, and I have 2 very important questions.
Okay.
One in the chat was from Lori, and what is the name of the first necklace you showed us? The very first one. Yep, that.
Serengeti.
Okay, and then very important, I know you have DIY kits. Tell us really briefly, we have less than a minute.
Okay, I'll talk really fast. During the pandemic, my daughter and I were on the screens a lot, and we thought, what can we do? So we started DIY kits, and it comes in a little pouch, and there's all different patterns. You can do a rainbow kit, you can do freestyle, and they're really fun beads that I curate in the same way that I curate my own beads, and it's really professional material. There's a lot of kind of stuff that ends up in the landfills on the market, but these are higher quality, and you can get bracelets. And my daughter came up when she was 9, she said, you should have a bead club. So we made this bead club. It has a passport, so you can travel with us. And each month we send you a project, and then you can join me over Zoom and we can do it together.
I just want to say, I need a Saskia passport. I just do.
You have to join Bead Club together.
Okay. Thank you so much, Saskia. This was delightful, like beyond. And we're going to take this on to somebody else who is a delight. And we're going to move on to Suzanne.
Hi, I'm Suzanne of Suzanne Schwartz Jewelry. And I just want to say there are some of you who I actually met this weekend at my first show since COVID started, and it was just so incredible seeing you all. And that goes for my fellow artists too, who I really only knew through Zoom and got to see in person. So my jewelry is really textile inspired, and the majority of my work, if you could come in a little closer, is stitched. So what I mean by that is I will sew through with fine silver or 22 karat gold wire. So that's the majority of my work, and I also have a pearl line. When I was growing up, my grandmother used to come over every weekend, and she would always be knitting and sewing. And so I just fell in love with the stitch, and I really use the stitch as a texture in my work. Nothing's attached by it, but it is the texture and kind of like, what stands out with it. this is the freeform necklace, and I have it on a chain that I've made with just playing with the different colors of black and white. That's my color palette. And then sometimes I put in some gold as well. So I also, one of my newest collections is within the Circle collection is the lichen lace. And what this is another kind of, sorry, I'm just trying to get this necklace off, is another way that I stitch. So with this necklace and this whole line, because you can see this is the medium necklace, and then I had a longer and shorter one on, I make these little circles, and I'm just gonna put this out right here. So these circles I make, I'll drill little holes, and I'll make them in silver, black, and gold. And I will stitch them onto the sterling silver rope chain and really make a pattern with them. So that's what the lichen lace is. And this is the medium necklace, this is the full necklace. And then I'm wearing the short necklace and the long necklace. And what's nice about the long necklace is that it has a clasp, so you can, make it, you can wear it doubled or just wear it long. So some of the other stitched pieces that I do, just to show you some other styles. I also like, whoops, there goes circles all over the place. So this cuff that I'm wearing, this is in the Square collection. And what this is I make all these tiny little squares. And each square I make, I stitch. I put a stitch in, but I do not attach them through stitching. As I said, none of the work is attached through stitching. I want to make sure it all stays on. And this is just kind of playful with the silver and the black and the different colored stitching in the opposite color. So this is kind of a series of cuffs that I make, and just keep the camera there if you can. Dave, my husband's helping me out. And I'm just going to show you, some of the other bracelets that I do. So this one is all 22 karat gold, stitched with fine silver and argentium silver. When I use argentium silver, it's a highly tarnish resistant silver. And then here we have another, this is kind of mixing all the different colors. And then I stitch with fine silver. So these really keep, their color. So this is another little cluster necklace. And this is also a fairly new piece. And this one is done in the oxidized silver and the bright silver, you can see. Or I also have a gold version, and then there's also a gold and silver version. So I wanted to just kind of also take.
Suzanne, people are loving the cuffs and your new work. And to me, it just looks like almost like a bouquet of blossoms running around your bracelets or your necklaces. They look like they're growing, which is, really a positive connotation.
I know a lot of people have, someone said, is it a hydrangea? And it's not a hydrangea. It's just, I really see things in, abstraction, and I love playing with multiples. So putting all the squares together in the different, well, this one's all gold, but in all the different colors and mixing them is just, it's just like so much fun to me, and
It
then
is,
really
but I also see the hydrangea reference because it almost looks fluffy. Like there's a softness to the clusters that you put together that I think is so luscious and yummy. When you say you stitch, can you tell us a little bit more about how you do that and what your influence was for that?
I can. So it was really my grandmother who, I think I mentioned, who, used to come over every weekend. And it was really her stitching, her sewing that really got me into it. So I'm just gonna show. So here, if you look at this, I ran out of wire, but you can see the little holes. So what I'll do is I'll take a piece of wire, I ball up one end, and I'll be ripping this out because I like to have a whole piece of wire. And then I'll just slowly, just gonna put it through one of the holes, but I'm really working with pliers as well, because I really want to pull it tight, and to the point where I get a little bit of a stretch in it, so that the pattern of the stitches will really stay there and you won't be able to, move them, so that that's going to stay permanently.
Well, I, for one, I am so excited by seeing you actually pull a stitch. It's like, woo! And there's also a great comment in the chat from Liz, who got to see you in person this weekend and is wearing one of your pieces. So it was wonderful. You got to connect with your art party customers.
It was so great to see you
in person. Thank you so much, Suzanne. And now we're going to bring it on to another Art Party Central founding member. We're going to bring it on to Kathleen.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Ecologic Recycling Design Studio. If you don't know me, I specialize in cashmere, and the way I create my material, my fabric, is I go and I harvest old sweaters that would be destined for the landfill or potentially travel around the world again. All of my supply of raw material that I transform into fabric is coming from my community in the New York City metro area. So all of my clothes that I create only travel 150 miles in their manufacturing and are made with soap, water, and creativity. No negative byproducts that will impact the earth in a negative way. And it takes a little bit more time, but I really believe the love and attention that goes into each piece gets passed on to the owner and the final wearer of the pieces. So today I brought you some things to transition into fall, because we just had the fall equinox on Wednesday and got to witness that beautiful harvest moon. So I'm thinking about things that I can wear while I'm still wearing some of my summer spring things. I want to show you this piece. This is the Julie. Julie Zip is what we call her. She's just such a classic piece. When I designed this piece, I wanted to have that go-to cardigan, and I have one in all navy. You all will be shocked because all of my things are usually so colorful, but I'm going to try this navy one on for you. But I wanted that piece that, whether you were dressed up or you had your jeans or whatever it was, that you could just grab and go. And if I'm wearing it a little bit dressy, I'll pop a color underneath here, wear it with a pencil skirt, and then I have a really lovely piece there. And I was joking earlier that this one is good for hiding that tushy if you do get a little sensitive about that area. So it's a great piece for people that want a little extra coverage. The other design, and oh my goodness, I left it at the steam table. So I'm going to have to skip that one, but I'm going to tell you about it. I just did a whole new series of the Veronica sweater. Maybe I can snitch one. Let me see how close or how far they are. Well, I'm going to do that in a minute. But right now I will show you. Oh, I'm getting a delivery of a Veronica sweater from my wonderful husband, Charlie. So he's making magic happen for me. But just to show you a Julie sweater, the first one I showed you, that is in process. So where all the pieces are hand cut, the colors have been decided, and it's all coated for sewing at the machine. So every piece that you see is all hand done like that. And this is the Veronica jacket. And I'm really excited about this series. I've done this series in navy. I've done this in browns, which is the one that I'm showing you right now. This just came off the steam table. So that's like the last stage before I actually mark it for sale. And I'm going to show you the details on this. It's just one of my favorites. I love the technical aspect of sewing with cashmere. It's very challenging. But to me, that's what makes the joy of creating this work. So this also folds up to 3/4. I'm going to step back up so you can see that. There we go. Oh, and I have to show the back because I always love a good back detail. Almost doesn't matter which piece I'm doing. I always do a fun back. This sweater right here is the pepper. And I want to encourage you all to please join the email list, because every week I feature something that I'm making. And this week, the pepper sweaters are featured, but we have a special discount, and it's a little bit sweeter than the art party discount tonight. So if you love the pepper, go and read that email and get the special code. These are really fantastic. I'm going to try it on for you. And I know it's a cap sleeve, but if you're wearing it or transitioning into the dead of winter, you can layer it up with a collared shirt underneath. You can pop a turtleneck underneath. This is just, I don't know, it's a favorite sweater of mine. And I like to show people about the cashmere. As you get to know your cashmere, or it gets to know you, it will block to your body and get even better with wear. So I say, don't be afraid of it. Just get in there and make it yours and enjoy the cashmere. It's lightweight, 4 times warmer than wool, antimicrobial. I mean, I can't say enough about how this material interacts with your body and how comfortable it makes you feel.
And I really like, instead of the term form fitting for your work, when I think of my skirt, my banded skirt, I think of form flattering.
Form flattering, yes.
Yeah, because it really does. And it really gives you curves in all the right places and reminds you that your curves are in all the right places. So.
That's right. I think sometimes because we have to deal with the transitions of our bodies as we age, we get stuck in the trap of thinking that they're not beautiful. But as we age, even though I'm a few sizes larger, I still have a lovely shape. And it's so refreshing to see that celebrated.
It absolutely is. And, you were one of the first people, I'm heading towards 60 and I'm like, I don't know if I could wear that banded ekologic skirt. And you were like, I'm sending you one, you're putting it on. And I was like, holy moly.
So good on you too. I'm so glad you tried it.
We have just a couple of minutes left. First of all, you can talk about your hand warmers because I can show them. And then if you could also talk about your hats and the sizing for your hats.
Okay. So I have about 5 different hat styles, and I also do these wonderful headband neck scarves, which you can see. But the hats are all designed for different functions, purposes. This one really gives you good ear coverage. There's all types, but everyone has a different head size, and all the hats at the sewing machines come out slightly different too. So what I always encourage you to do is really learn what your head size is. And you can see where I'm holding that the tape measure right on the biggest part of your crown. And I have a 22.5-inch head. That's average. Some people are 21. Whatever it is, let me know, and I will verify the hat before it goes out the door. And if you have a larger head or a smaller head, give me a heads up and I will guide you through the process, or even make one to fit.
Heads up. I bet that was punny without even intending to be. And 2 seconds on the hand warmers. You have less than 30, but
oh yes. Okay. So these are a lighter weight cashmere, great for transition. Cashmere near pulse point stabilizes your body temperature. Just so good with that walk with a friend. They'll keep you so comfortable.
Great. And now, thank you so much, Kathleen, for an amazing presentation and for all you do with your zero waste in your studio. We appreciate you and your work. And we are going to bring it on to Alex, which is, going to fill my Zen needs.
Hey everyone, sorry, I'm just plugging my computer in real quick. I probably should have done that before it was my turn, but hello. I'm Alex Lozier, for those of you guys that don't know me. I am a jewelry artist and I'm also a magical talisman maker. If you're not familiar with what a magical talisman is, it is a piece of jewelry that is made out of personal objects that are sacred and that are infused with a specific intention to create a desirable result. And when we're talking about magical talismans, for me, what really makes a magical talisman comes to life are the stones. And I really love working with stones because I feel like every single stone has a unique message and they really interact with our own unique energy in a personal way. So for example, like these stones, these are agate geodes, and their message is all about revealing inner beauty. And you can see that when this stone is opened up, I mean, the outside of it, it's kind of dull and rough, but the inside really sparkles and catches the light. And I think that's a really beautiful message that you would want to carry with you throughout the day. So when we're thinking about magical talismans and how jewelry can help us to step into our most empowered self, that's what I really like to think about when I'm designing, when I'm choosing stones. I'm really thinking about what are these stones? Can you guys see that? What are the stones? Who are the people that are wearing this? And what is the feeling that this is going to evoke when the person is wearing this? So these earrings, for example, these are made out of a fossilized shell from Morocco. These are called ammonites with a citrine stone. And then they have a pyrite crystal on top. Pyrite is a stone of confidence and abundance. And these are porcupine quills. So they also have a little bit of protection. So they're kind of like warrior earrings, like you're going out in the world, you're having this sense of protection, but you're also having your confidence boosted. And what's so interesting is that these are earrings, right? So earrings, actually, when they dangle, they're actually kind of protecting your neck, right? Like your neck is your most vulnerable part of your body. So it feels good intuitively to have a little bit of a sense of protection in that area. Oh, what I just love stones so much. There's so much to say. But each stone, like I said, it really has its own unique message. So these are apophyllite crystals on Druzy chalcedony. And these stones, these are all about helping us to connect with our divine purpose in life. And I just think that that's really an interesting message to think about wearing that as a necklace, right? Because when we're wearing necklaces, we're holding that message close to our heart. And we're also having a necklace encircle our throat. So that's going to help us speak our truth along that journey. So I'm always kind of like thinking about these things as far as what the stone's message is, how we can integrate that in a deeper way, and how that can really like empower us out in the world. To me, a really great piece of jewelry, it integrates the wisdom of the body and it awakens the magic of the soul. So these are black tourmaline earrings. Again, these are really protective. I like to think of wearing these as like a little shield. All black stones have like a really grounding and protective energy about them. This piece in particular, this is one of my favorites. So this is actually all black obsidian that I carved from a single slab of stone. And where I think that sorry, trying to get it like centered in the camera. There we go. So where I think that my design and skills as a maker really come into play is my skills as a metalsmith. And something that's really important to me is really integrating every single part of the piece. So you can see that I've built these little metal frames. So the stone actually hovers above the body, and it has kind of a floaty feel when you put it on. And then this is all handmade chain. So when I'm making the jewelry, not only am I thinking about the energy and the way that the person's going to be feeling when they're wearing the piece, but I'm also really thinking about integrating the design of the metalwork with the stone. And so you can see this piece too, it really kind of like, it's almost like armor. Like I said, black tourmaline, not black tourmaline, sorry, this is black obsidian, and it really has a protective quality to it. So that also speaks to the design and the way that it sits on the body and it interacts with how you wear it.
Alex, you are so thoughtful in terms of your customers' needs and what the emotions of a person. But I also just love how your work, like even the one you're wearing, it's an incredibly feminine piece at the same time as being really strong and powerful. And I think that talks to every side of a woman right there. And I don't know if I'm the only one who feels this, but sometimes when you're talking about your work, and I'm mesmerized by the beauty of it, but then you say something about the emotional side of it or the magical side of it, I get a chill. And it's a really nice feeling to be looking at something while you present and feeling this chill.
Yeah, well, when we feel that, we're really striking a chord of truth that is really inherent in a deep, soulful place of who we are. And, we all have that, and we all connect in that way, but we all also want to shine our own unique essence. And I think that that's one of the really beautiful things about jewelry, is that it can help you step into that most empowered part of yourself. And I mean, jewelry is self-love, right?
Yeah, it's really like a therapeutic investment. It is. I'd rather come to your studio than sit on a couch and talk to a therapist. I think I'd feel just as good coming out and just as much like I got what I needed, or I saw the better parts of myself while I was wearing your work.
Definitely.
You accomplish an extraordinary goal. We have just about 30 seconds. You want to tell us what you're working on now?
Yeah, I am actually working on a fall collection. It's called the Season of the Witch. I'm really excited about it. And it's going to be dropping in October. So I've been dropping little sneak peeks on my Instagram, so you can check that out there. So it's a great place to follow me and stay in touch, but also sign up for my mailing list so that you can get VIP shopping access if that's something that you're interested in. It's going to be all black tourmalines and juicy amethysts. And yeah, we're just really kind of getting into that flavor of the mystical realm of the witchy season.
Hell yes. And just to point out another tie-in, when you said juicy amethyst and
Yep.
Suzanne Schwartz with her metalwork that seems soft and fluffy to me. You're taking these hard things and yet making them soft and accessible, but in a beautiful way. I love all the tie-ins. Thank you so much, Alex. And I cannot believe that we are up to our next and final artist for the evening. We are up to Meghan Patrice Riley.
Hey guys, well, welcome everybody. I have been loving all of this, and I have to say, I love the application of juicy to metalwork and just gemstones, because it makes me feel like I want to eat it, and that's the feeling I get about jewelry. I want to consume it, and it fills me up and nourishes me in many ways. I totally get this. I also feel really nourished to be part of this community, and thanks everybody for being here. I'm NPR, Meghan Patrice Riley, and welcome to my studio in Brooklyn. I think I know many of you, and so I'm going to tell you a little bit. I brought my traditional work, but I also brought you guys some really fun experiments, as usual. It's been a really creative time. I haven't seen you guys as much this summer, and we've been missing you, and it's really wonderful to be back in this fall holiday season. I've been working on all these new kind of autumnal pieces and thinking about pushing my metalwork in further directions, as always. This is one of the newer pieces in my traditional cable series. I'm a contemporary art jeweler. I use non-traditional materials and mix it with more traditional materials, like using metal smithing and little bits of metal, but bringing in this, what's really classic for me is this woven steel cable that they use in suspension bridges. So I use a lot of structural engineering in my designs and think about how things are going to lay on the body, how they're going to be comfortable, how they're going to move and fit together and play. And I've been playing with all these new juicy pearls and these really great, this is like drawing in space for your clothing. I love it. And it lays so beautifully, even all these disparate parts coming together. Oh, thanks, Suzanne. I've been really enjoying this one. This one took me, you can tell this is not a normal piece for me, but I'm in love with it. And it has all these great new pearls and wonderful like gunmetals and bronzes and light grays. And I'm thinking about shape. I use so much math in everything I do. And I think a lot about that is the underpinnings of my work. I was not trained as an artist or as a jeweler. I was trained as an economist and a statistician. So, you take all these parts from your life and you put a little bit of yourself into your pieces. So within that, and because I love experimenting and I love playing with materials and I love learning about materials, I've been playing with all this new acrylic, these new acrylic weavings and acrylic pieces and thinking about childhood and balloon animals and Jeff Koons and created this new collection called the Imaginarium. And it's been just this wonderful collection I've been adding to a little bit throughout the summer. And the newest iteration are these humongous earrings. I love big earrings always. And so I've made tons of different styles and colors, and they're all kind of like Mylar balloons to me. They're hollow form acrylic on 14 karat gold fill, some hooks, some sterling silver hooks, some different posts, really just playing with different things and making them all kind of unique and sketching in a way. So playing with colors, doing two tones, and they have a little like jingle. And even though I can get this really amazing, big, bold look without being super heavy. And I think that has been really attractive to me. I love pushing boundaries and thinking about, how big can we get? How big can we get? How heavy can we get? But these are ultimately very light. And I love the weaving with them. This is like one of my newest, and like, again, really big, really big. What started all this out was I started doing more of these chain weavings. So kind of came to chain, which I don't usually use as much in my work, but I've been weaving these really crocheting and knitting. So again, I'm definitely a textiles person, which Suzanne will attest to. So I use a lot of textiles in my work. Even in the cable series, it has a very textile quality. It's actually like, it's a woven cable on the inside. It has like little miniature strands inside. Can really just geek out on this, but this is another version of steel in a whole nother way. Oh, those new red ones are really cute. The red ones had to come out because I started weaving these fantastic colorful chains. So this is more of a chain, a vintage powder coated aluminum chain that I then did a helix pattern of crochet all around to kind of follow and mimic and give this almost like granulated feel. I love chain on chain and getting really meta. But this one, I started thinking more about creating the helixes within the pattern of the steel. So creating these kind of like ruffles. So taking something really hard and industrial, making it very feminine and soft and having a flowing drape, which is really nice on the body. This has been really fun. Some more traditional pieces. I also I'm a scrunchie girl. So I made scrunchies out of chain because why not? Sometimes I love pushing categories too, like things that you don't think you need, but actually just needed to be made. This is a crochet scrunchie out of chain. It's very contemporary.
I'm laughing because I can relate because I'm seeing the pink chain scrunchie. I'm thinking that like, hell, that would just finish this outfit. And now I know I need it.
one of my gallerists just got one for herself, and she's like, I'm wearing this because I always think about the scrunchie in my hair. It always ends up on my wrist. It really is a bracelet. Why not just make it a bracelet? Although it does function it actually is functional. But I thought that was it's just fun to me. This is totally childhood. Like,
Oh, we're starting a vote. I need it.
yes, okay, good. But it's like, it's childhood and play.
I can attest to these, and I was showing them off between the parties on a FaceTime with a friend, and Kathleen's wearing them also, and they are incredibly light, so much fun. And just as I was about to say Jeff Koons reference, she said Klaus Oldenburg, and I'm thinking, yes, and I'm thinking, yes, that too.
Look at I like how Kathleen did that little trick where she flipped the super long earrings on themselves and made them a double. I was like, oh, Kathleen, new styling, so stylish. But I wore these for my birthday, made them for my birthday. I was home with my family in California last time we did an art party, and I had such a good response, and I made them for me, and they were so just for play. And then all these people came out of the woodwork from 20 years ago and started ordering them. So I made more. People, this is like bringing part of me from a long time ago here for you. I'm having a good time. Karla, do you have questions? I missed one.
Of course I do, and we have like 30 seconds because I went on about how much I love you and your work. But give us a quick 30-second fall jewelry styling tip.
Ooh, I still think long necklaces are going to be in the mix. I was thinking about that in the summer because we have not been looking at cute long necklaces. And because of Zoom, we've been really focused on here up. So I've been doing some new like turquoise long ones, getting ready for, some new long pieces like this, like long pendants, because we're going to be going out and seeing people. So we don't have to think always about here now. We get to put the whole outfit together.
Absolutely. Meghan, thank you so much. And thank you for making me cute.
Thank everybody for being here.
Thank you to all the artists who presented tonight. I mean, really, what a freaking treat. You were all like amazing. And thank you all for coming to support us because you give us a reason for being here and you inspire us. And as many of the artists said, it's your creativity and your ability to wear creative and appreciate handmade that inspires us to keep moving forward and energizes and fuels us to become, like a never-ending cycle. We become more creative because of you. So we want to thank you so much. We love having this platform. Please continue to tell your friends about Art Party Central. Tell them how much fun it is. Invite them to come with you to a party and we can all be together. And also, thank you for following us on our social media. We really do appreciate it. And we appreciate your feedback to our newsletters and our posts on all the platforms, Facebook, Insta, etc. So I am about to announce our raffle winners and we're going to celebrate, which means you're going to unmute so you can help me cheer for the winners because it sucks to do that alone. So without further ado, I will just say that if you are one of the winners, the only thing we ask of you, please pop your email into the chat because this way we can get you your $50 coupon. Otherwise, if you don't match your Zoom, it becomes kind of hard. So once again, if you are a winner, please just pop your email into the chat. And feel free to cheer right along with me. So without further ado, our winner for Suzanne Schwartz Jewelry is Emmer Herity. Emmer, you're a winner.
Yay!
Yay! Congratulations. And our winner for Ecologic is Carol Trapp. Congratulations, Carol.
Yay!
Hey.
Stop.
For Alex Lozier Jewelry, Karen Lefferman. Yay. And finally, for MPR, we have a winner in Crystal P. Crystal, congratulations. So congratulations to all our winners, but we want everyone to leave here feeling like a winner tonight. So you're all going to receive a coupon code that's good for 10% off all of the artists' websites, including my own, carlagudeon.com and Charlie Tesnakis at ekologic.com. So the coupon is going to be good today through September 29th. Head over to our websites, enjoy browsing, and shop and treat yourself because it is time to do that. The coupon for today's party is...
You're awake. You can watch anything, darling.
And I will ask if you're talking in the background that you do go back to muting yourself. The coupon for today's party is SEPT23 Art Party. So that's SEPT23 Art Party, SEPT23 ARTPARTY. We've put it in the chat, and it's also going to be in a follow-up email, so you don't have to worry if you didn't get it down. And also our websites will be in that follow-up email as well. We have one day of parties coming up next week on Thursday, and that features Judith Haas, Jennifer Lipman Bruno Design, Steel Pony, Shayna Croy, Amy Canarak Designs, It's by Jan, Crystal Kodata, and Karla Gudeon Art and Design. That's me. And you can RSVP at artpartycentral.org. I want to give one last shout out to my amazing co-host, Charlie. Thank you so much. You might not have seen him, but he did an amazing job of keeping things flowing, popping your links into the chat so you could link directly to the websites and being there to note any questions. So with that, without further ado, if you'd like to ask a question, please unmute yourself. If you need to go, we understand you're busy. We hope to see you again at next week's party and certainly many times throughout the season. And for those of you that are staying, I'm really excited to have you, and feel free to pop a question in the chat or just shout it out to us right now for all the artists or one specific artist. Do we have any takers?
I have a question for Alex.
Sure.
The huge necklace that has all the black, how heavy is that?
This one?
Yes.
It's really not that heavy. I really try to consider wearability when I'm designing my jewelry. So one thing that I think about for bigger pieces is making the chain bigger. So when it's on a bigger chain, it distributes the weight a little bit better. So I've worn this necklace all day and it hasn't been a problem. I'm also a small person. I call myself a microhuman, so the proportions are a little bit more extreme when I wear it, but I haven't had a problem. I don't have an exact weight though. I mean, it is a statement piece. It is a big necklace, but again, like I said earlier, the stones float. So even though it does look chunky, there's a lot of like airspace underneath. So it's, in some sense, it has like a hollowness to it.
It
So I
seems
hope that
like
is
you were
helpful.
so considerate of your customer. And I've worn big necklaces. I can't imagine it being too hard to wear, but I bet if Dory emails you privately afterwards and you had to plop it on a little scale, you could or something.
Yeah, I'd be happy to answer any more questions. Definitely, Dory.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yes, I have one.
Okay,
For Saskia.
I see Christine and Dottie. Let's do Christine and then we'll come to Dottie.
Okay.
Hi, I'm in Philly and I'm wondering if any of you are coming to the Rittenhouse Square crafts show that's coming up in October.
It looks like Ekologic and Suzanne Schwartz.
Oh, great. Okay, that's really exciting. I go every year and I always wonder who's coming. So now I know a couple of people.
Oh,
Thank you.
that'll be exciting to see you there too. Really will
Yeah.
be.
Good.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
I look forward to meeting you in person.
Wonderful.
That's so exciting. And Dottie, what was your question?
Yes, I had a question for Saskia. There was a necklace that was blue, shades of blue, Molly, you said?
Oh, yes, Molly Weds.
Yes.
So we have like a stripy blue and white mixed in with, it's still see-through, but there's like a lighter blue and then even a darker blue. And I have Thai silver dispersed out in funny little, like in non-symmetrical ways. And here, let me just put it on for you.
About how long is it in inches, you think?
It's probably 19 inches. And again, I have a sterling silver extender, which I would recommend with this one because this has sterling silver. Like this.
And so you call it Molly, and what was the second word?
Weds, like wedding, W-E-D-S. So that's because these are wedding beads. And a friend of mine's name is Molly. She's from Ethiopia, but I just kind of was thinking of her. And so Molly Weds.
And Liz, I see Liz's question in the chat. Is there a schedule for live shows? There's no overarching schedule for live craft shows around the country. But again, if you follow your favorite artists, I know that when I did Lyndhurst, I did an email about it, and I posted on Instagram or Facebook. So all your favorite artists, I'm sure, are going to promote the schedule of any live shows they're participating in. I know a lot of the October, there's still some definites outdoors, but I know as we head into the winter, there's some question whether the indoor shows are going to happen. And Saskia already mentioned, I think she mentioned it at this party, I know she mentioned it at the earlier, that she's going to be throughout the holiday season at the Union Square show in New York City.
Well, that's cool. My follow-up question is, how do you guys feel about returning live?
Well, I just wanted to jump in. The reason that I feel sort of okay about Union Square is because it's outside. And I've always been cold, so I'll have a mask keeping me warm and toasty. But I really miss I miss seeing people in person. And also it's a lot harder. You know, a lot of us, I'll just speak for myself, make more than half of our yearly income in November and December. And so it's really hard not to have a holiday market. So I'm, I guess, risking a little bit. I'm vaccinated and I'll be masked. So I think, and it's outdoors, so I think it'll be okay. But I know a lot of us were going to do Grand Central and chose not to. And now that one's
It's been canceled.
Yes.
Grand Central's been
But I mean, in terms of even addressing that, I know I was one of the people going to do it. But ultimately, again, with it being indoors and then needing to stay with my 88-year-old stepfather and my 82-year-old mom, it just started feeling like it wasn't a prudent thing to be exposed all day at an indoor location and then go home to the elderly. So those are, I think we're all, I could speak for all of us in saying we miss the shows terribly. And we're so excited for any opportunity to be back. But we also want to be very cautious and very prudent about it.
Makes sense.
You know, that
I think for me, when it starts going indoors, we'll have to see like where things are at and, you know, how the venue's going to handle it.
An art party, you know, we have some things in the works. You know, we'll be announcing things as the season goes on. We have some little secrets.
I can't wait to hear the secrets. I love a juicy secret.
We are in suspense.
That's good. That was the idea.
Yes.
I think there's a Netflix movie now called Clickbait. This was my form of clickbait. Any other questions before we say have a great night? Well, thank you. And I hope we see all of you again next week for those of you that can come next Thursday, and certainly as many times throughout the season as we can be together. We love this. Thank you to our artists again.
Good night, everyone.
Bye. Bye, Dory. Bye, Lori.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Nice to see everybody. Bye.